In every chemical reaction, from those in the batteries powering your mobile phone to the fuel burning in a rocket engine, they depend upon getting the quantities of chemicals exactly right. And behind all of those calculations lies one invisible number: the mole. Chemists cannot count individual atoms. They are simply too small, and there are too many of them. Instead, they use the mole, a powerful counting unit that lets us measure the unimaginably large numbers of particles that can take part in reactions, and it does so with surprising precision. And if you're studying GCSE Chemistry, then understanding how to convert between masses and moles is one of the most important calculation skills you'll learn. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how a single, simple equation unlocks some of the most common quantitative chemistry questions found in GCSE exams. And by the end of the video, you'll be able to solve them confidently yourself. Welcome back to our series on quantitative chemistry. In this episode, we're tackling one of the most important calculations questions in GCSE chemistry: converting between masses and moles. Before we begin, I'm assuming that you already know how to calculate the relative formula mass, or MR, of a compound, and that you understand what a mole actually is. If you feel you need a refresher on either of those two topics, you'll find links to those videos in the description below. By the end of this video, you'll be able to answer questions like this one with confidence. Questions like that appear regularly on GCSE examinations. More often, though, they're hidden inside larger reacting mass calculations, such as this one. Now, questions like that require several steps, and so we'll return to those at the end of this video. For now, our focus is on mastering the conversion between masses and moles, because that really is the integral part of most quantitative chemistry questions. Surprisingly, to do that, all we need is going to be one simple mathematical equation. Sample mass is equal to relative formula mass multiplied by the number of moles. Or you might see it written in its symbol form like this: mass equals MR times moles. You may also see it written as moles equals mass divided by MR, and learning that rearrangement will save you valuable time in an exam. Let's start with the conversion you'll use most often: turning a mass into a number of moles. How many moles of sodium bromide are contained in a sample with a mass of 10.3 grams? We'll use our rearranged equation here. Moles equals mass divided by MR. The mass is 10.3 grams. The formula mass of sodium bromide, NaBr, is 23 plus 80, which equals 103. Substituting the values, 10.3 divided by 103 will give us 0.1. So the answer is 0.1 moles. And that's the basic process. Now that you've done it once, similar questions follow exactly the same pattern. Again, moles equals mass divided by MR. Lithium oxide is Li2O. Its formula mass is therefore 7 times 2 plus 16, giving us a total of 30. Therefore, we've got 60 divided by 30, and the answer is 2 moles. In these examples, the numbers divided perfectly, but in some exam questions you'll get longer decimal answers. And unless the question tells you otherwise, rounding to 3 decimal places is usually the safest approach. This time, the examiner has provided the formula mass of 159.5, so using the equation is now even more straightforward, and 60 divided by 159.5 is equal to, well, 0.37675, yeah, but rounded to 3 decimal places, we're going to give it as 0.376. And at this point, you've already learned the core skill. Pause the video on this next question and try this challenge. How many moles of copper sulfate are contained in a 23-gram sample? Okay, here goes. Now you may have calculated it for yourself, or you may have simply taken the value from the previous question, but either way, using an MR of 159.5 again, the answer turns out to be 23 divided by 159.5 to give us an answer of 0.144 moles to 3 decimal places. Now, let's reverse the process and convert moles into mass. Here's a question you might find in an exam. This time, we use mass equals MR times moles. For sodium chloride, the MR equals 58.5, and therefore we're going to have 58.5 multiplied by 0.25, and we'll get an answer of 14.625, meaning that the required mass is 14.625 grams. Now, for one of the examiner's favourite tricks. The trap here is the unit of mass. Our equation only works if the mass is in grams, so we must first convert those kilograms into grams. And of course, 25 kilograms is equal to 25,000 grams. Now we calculate the moles, with moles equals mass divided by MR, 25,000 divided by 40, giving us an answer of 625. And therefore this reaction requires 625 moles of sodium hydroxide. Forgetting to convert all masses into grams before starting calculations is one of the most common mistakes to make in an exam, and so please remember to check your units every single time. As always, there's a full worksheet to support this video with lots of examples and a matching answer sheet to check your responses. And if you get stuck, just use the comments section here to ask for help. But let's finish by seeing how these calculations are used in real chemistry, by revisiting the question that we saw at the start of this episode. If 17 grams of calcium carbonate decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, what mass of calcium oxide will be produced? Well, first we convert the calcium carbonate into moles. The MR of calcium carbonate is 100, so 17 divided by 100 is 0.17 moles. Now look at the balanced equation. It tells us that for every 1 unit of calcium carbonate, 1 unit of calcium oxide is produced, because 1 mole always contains the same number of particles. So, if 0.17 moles of calcium carbonate decomposes, it will produce 0.17 moles of calcium oxide. The question now becomes, what is the mass of 0.17 moles of calcium oxide? Well, the MR of calcium oxide is 56, and mass equals MR times moles, so it's 56 times 0.17, and that gives us an answer of 9.52. Now, what we've done today might seem like a simple mathematical exercise, but these conversions are the foundations of almost every quantitative chemistry calculation that you're going to encounter. So, whether you're calculating a reacting mass, a gas volume, a yield, or some of the most challenging GCSE examination questions, everything starts with the skill you've learned today. Master the conversion between masses and moles, and you've already taken a huge step towards becoming a quantitative chemist. Don't forget to download the worksheet, which is linked below, for some extra practice, and when you're ready for that next step, take a look at the video on reacting masses, where we'll use today's skills to solve more complex exam-style questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for that next step on your journey to becoming a fully qualified chemist. Bye for now.